Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Learn This Deck with me Madhvi, and we are going to look at this card from the Dreaming Way Tarot, the Temperance card. Oh, it is so gorgeous. I mean, just look at it. I love it, right? I totally love it. And I guess you guys love it too. As is the case with many of the cards in this deck so far, there's nothing much really going on in the environment. Same with this one, there's just like this greenish wash thing. But then there's also that pool of water, which is interesting because when we see water in pools, I often like to connect that with the subconscious mind. I don't know why, but I don't know. That's how it's often come up to me that the pools of water are subconscious mind. So let's go with that. The person here in this case is a young man with angel wings, or you could even say he's an angel, right? Because traditionally this card does depict uh, an angel on it. And again, he's doing this thing. He has two cups and he's pouring a liquid from one cup into the other cup. This is also some sort of imagery which does occur on typically pretty much all the temperance cards, that are out there. This symbolism really suggests or links with alchemical traditions where at some point you could convert silver into gold, and that's why this whole movement where he's pouring water from one cup to the other is often linked with transformation. All right. And of course the angel wings are there which link him to the divinity or to divine energy. So there is that connection between divine energy and transformation. Of course, literally, I don't think the alchemists ever found a process of converting silver into gold, because if we knew that, there wouldn't be, there would be just so much of gold everywhere, right? I think they were talking about this whole silver gold thing on a very, I would say, in a very symbolic manner. So, it's like lead to silver to gold. People were, it's like human beings. If, let's say, we are at that level where we are like lead, we are just really not evolved enough. And then we get to that point where we are at the level of, say, silver, where we have evolved to a certain state of consciousness. And then we elevate ourselves to the next level, which is gold. So that's the inner sort of transformation that is being depicted. Another thing I noticed were his boots, right? They look like those waterproof boots that I usually wear when I go out in winter to shovel the snow. So that was an interesting connection there. So yeah, obviously if he's gonna stand in that whole pool of water, he's gonna wear those kind of shoes, right? So that's the card. What does the LWB have to say? Let's have a look. Here's what sort of stood out for me from the LWB. Whenever there is desire, there is need for balance and moderation. So the deck creator likes to say that desire creates maybe an imbalance or a state of movement on some level. But then when that happens, when it goes maybe out of hand, you need to find that balance. You need to find moderation. This card is also about harmony and peace of mind that you can get through compromise and self-restraint. So this is a method, he says, for finding that balance and moderation. You have to compromise, you have to have self-restraint. So naturally this card is all about moderation and finding the middle ground. So what were my keywords? I will confess that the LWB did, kind of influence me a little bit here. Of course, so balance and harmony. Again, if you look at the symbolism of the two cups, when he's pouring water from one cup and into the other, he's maybe trying to create that balance. If you just sort of disconnect it with the whole alchemy connection, then yes, you could say that, yeah, he's maybe trying to bring about balance. Like if maybe one cup has too much water and he's putting it into the other cup and making sure the water levels are equal or some such thing. I don't know. Then of course we have inner transformation, because he's standing in that pool of water, so I believe that the whole subconscious is also going through that transformation. You could connect it that way. Then there was another connection that sort of popped up in my head because of this whole finding the middle ground thing, is mediator and mediation. Like this is something I studied way back when I was in college. uh, Sometimes there are two people or parties who have some legal issues, or maybe two people who have arguments, and it comes to a point where they might go into court for resolving those arguments. And sometimes at those times, usually it does happen that the court appoints someone called as a mediator, or it's also called an arbiter. And this person tries to get those two people to sit across from each other, or across a table, and he tries to facilitate a sort of peaceful resolution between these arguments on issues that they've had. So essentially, not trying to take it all the way to the court, but trying to find a peaceful resolution between two opposing or arguing parties. So that is the feeling I got there. So if you think, when you open this card in a reading and you see this person, the temperance card, and you're like, oh, this is a person, this is not a situation. If that's the feeling you get, it is highly likely he might be this kind of person who wants to sort of bring about a peaceful resolution to the arguments around him, right? And the overall environment of this card is very peaceful. So that's what the upright keywords were for me. Now, if you take this card and you reverse it, this is what happens. See all that water? Now it's becoming, it's becoming a little bit more intense. It's not balanced anymore. Those two cups, the water is going to splash out of those cups. So it creates that whole keyword of imbalance, right? There is disharmony. There will be arguments between people. Maybe even this guy gets involved in an argument, right? And then there's that very deep sort of inner restlessness, right? It's sometimes you have that inner restlessness which you really can't express or explain. That can often be, uh, you know, what's going on when you get this card reversed. Now, of course, I had to write the card story, and I put myself in the place of that angel, and this is what came up. You may wonder what I'm really up to, but you will never really know. I can feel the change happening deep inside of me, but somehow I can't quite express it properly. But more than ever, I feel the sense of peace and calm totally filling up every pore of my being. This is perfect, right? So it's that whole change happening, can't express it, but I'm feeling very peaceful. The temperance card is something very calming. When you get that, it is a brilliant sort of, it's like calm outwardly, but inwardly there's so much going on. That's the whole feel with the temperance card. So what is your card story, and how was your journal entry all about? Go right ahead, take a picture. Okay, even if you didn't have a journal entry, you can just take a picture of the card and share it on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Use the hashtag learn this deck. You can even use the hashtags with the card name and the deck name and tarotically speaking, all of that, and just share it, and so we can find each other and we can like each other's stuff and totally share our knowledge and wisdom and all of that with each other and learn this deck. Yeah, so I will see you again. I don't know if I feel like doing a video on Saturday. Really, it's totally up to my mood. So I'll not make any promises. If I make one, I'll make one. Otherwise, I will see you directly on Monday. All right. Take care, be good, have a great weekend, and enjoy the summer. I will see you again with the next card, the Devil card. Later. Bye bye.